Yes, people, welcome back to another video live on Thai Sports. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Is this the year? Is this the year for Paris Saint-Germain? Because this is a team right now that are on fire. They are absolutely on fire. Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Brady Barcola, Desiree Doué, and then the midfield. PSG have had Mbappe, they've had the Neymar era, and they still fell short in the Champions League. They got to the final against Bayern Munich, a year that I think they should have won it. Didn't. Since then, quarterfinals, last 16, never been able to take that next jump, take that next step. But I'm looking at PSG now and I'm thinking, do you know what? In a year where other than Real Madrid, there does not seem to be any standouts in the Champions League. Could they find themselves in the final? Could them, over 90 minutes? I'm not saying they're better than Real Madrid, of course not. But over 90 minutes, anything can happen in a game of football. Could it be the year that PSG under Luis Enrique finally make the final again of the Champions League, but go that one step further and bring the crown jewels back to Paris? Now, if you were to ask me about all the seasons before, I wouldn't say they had a good chance like they do this season. Because for me, the standard of the Champions League, the standard of football right now in the current state it's in across Europe, other than Real Madrid, there's not really a standout team that I look at PSG facing and I say, look, do you know what? What's to say they can't beat Liverpool over two legs? What's to say they can't beat Arsenal over two legs? Because they definitely can. They definitely can, because one thing that's guaranteed in this PSG team right now, which I love, is that they score goals. There's no away rule. Whoever scores the most goals over the two legs will go through. And I'm looking at this PSG team right now, and it kind of reminds me a bit of Liverpool's attack in a sense. Obviously, you've got Luis Diaz, you've got Cody Gakpo, you've got Mohamed Salah, you've got Jota and Nunes. You've got five players that can play anywhere across the front line, really. And other than Darwin Núñez, they haven't really got a striker. But then you look at PSG and you look at Goncalo Ramos. He's the striker who followed Darwin Núñez' step at Benfica. And he's not quite worked out at PSG as much as you'd like. He's not starting games. He's coming off the bench and doing that sort of role. Similar to what Darwin Núñez is doing at Liverpool. So you look at former Benfica strikers, Darwin Núñez, Goncalo Ramos, they've made their moves, but they haven't established themselves at PSG or Liverpool. And their attacks are kind of the same, because you look at Dembele, Doué, Barcola, and Kvaratskhelia. They can all play on the left or right-hand side. You look at Liverpool's attacks of Gakpo, Diaz, Salah, and Jota. They can all play on the left or right, if need be. And I kind of look at Liverpool and PSG's attack and think they're very similar this year. And they're scoring goals. They're enjoying themselves. And they're both teams at the moment that are in form, top of their leagues as well. That's going to be a great matchup if they do eventually play each other in the Champions League. I haven't looked to the top of my head how it filters out. But they could be, if they do potentially play each other, that would be such a fantastic tie to watch. And they're both two teams that I look at in the Champions League, and I think they could both reach the final. Because if they both did avoid Real Madrid, Liverpool and PSG are probably the two best sides. Barcelona over two legs, I think they can both beat them. Bayern Munich are not cooking like they normally do. Arsenal are missing their attackers. Inter Milan, I think they just fall a bit short. They just lack something. A few older legs in midfield, Kakanoglu, Mkhitaryan. Barella's obviously a good player. But you've got Mehdi Taremi, Marcus Thuram, Lautaro Martinez. I don't think over two legs they have enough to beat a PSG and Liverpool. So I actually think if you look at PSG's team, this may be the season that they are looking at it and thinking, do you know what? We can reach the final. You look at their team. This is their team tonight. I'm just showing it here, guys, so you guys can see it nice and clear. Donnarumma, Nuno Mendes with a goal, William Pacho, the young centre-back, Marquinhos, Achraf Hakimi. Then you've got Yao Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Barcola, with, like I said, Desiree Doué on the bench, Goncalo Ramos on the bench, players that can make an impact. That midfield is so underrated, guys. So underrated. Vitinha, for me, is probably one of the best midfielders in world football. I have to say it. Do you know what? Vitinha, Portuguese international is one of the best midfielders in world football right now. What I love about Vitinha is his calmness on the ball, especially in tight areas. He never looks like he's under pressure. He always looks like he's playing the game at his tempo. And I love when players do that. No matter if it's helter-skelter, no matter if it's a pressure situation, he gets the ball and he just tucks it around the corner, or he turns a player. He just calms it down. Vitinha is very underrated, and he's a player that I think is only going to get better and better since signing from Porto. And I just love him and Neves and the way they complement each other. And I think what also helps PSG is that they've got a midfield that have two players that play with each other internationally as well. So they're both bringing that partnership, building that relationship, both at club level and international level. And when I look at Neves and Vitinha, there's not many midfielders that I can look at and say, yeah, they're better than them two. Because they give them everything. They give them control, passing through the lines. They give them legs. They can contribute in the final third. A great midfield that Luis Enrique's got at PSG. And it's showing now. He's starting to show consistently. And then, like I said, you've got the formation that enables Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Barcola not to just stick in their positions on the right, down the middle, and on the left. They can interchange, a bit like how you see Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius. Yes, it looks like Mbappe's playing number 9, which mainly he does. However, sometimes they see him on the left, sometimes they see him on the right. See Rodrigo up there. They can rotate. They can mix themselves around. And when you do that, as a team, that makes you so threatening because you're pulling out defenses. You're making gaps. You're making runs that people then create space for other players. And that's what it seems like Enrique is doing right now with this PSG team. And they've got themselves ticking. They are flying in the league. They're flying in the Champions League, coming off the back of a 10-0 win against Brest on aggregate. Another team in France, dominated, total control, took the tie away from them in the first leg. But instead of resting and rotating, he went there with full strength tonight and said, go and do a job on these guys, and do a job they did. A statement they are made. And I think what's even better for PSG is because they haven't got the noise of Kylian Mbappe, maybe they're thriving a bit more because they haven't got the pressure. They haven't got all eyes on them. You've got Dembele at 27 years of age, having one of the best seasons of his life. Kvaratskhelia just moved there with a point to prove that he wants to stand up and be counted in Europe. Barcola, Doué, young French players coming through the ranks. It's working very good for Luis Enrique right now. It's working very good for PSG. And I think them not having the pressure of everyone watching him with a Neymar or an Mbappe star, maybe is giving them that freedom to just go out there and enjoy themselves. The one big question mark, of course, will be the same thing. The French league is nothing on the Champions League in terms of when you play elite competition. When PSG do come up against a Liverpool or a Barcelona or a Real Madrid, they will be tested. We will then see if this video was a load of bollocks or if actually Luis Enrique's got them mentally focused, the team are focused, and they can finally get themselves over the line and win a big, big Champions League tie, which I don't think they've done in a few years now. So it's going to be so interesting to see how PSG do, because I do think right now they are a team that people need to watch out for. A great midfield, great balance, and an attack that's thriving, alternating, rotating, and everyone is contributing. Brilliant PSG performance tonight. Clinical in the final third. No injuries. They rock on in the league. They rock on in the Champions League. And they're a team that I don't think anyone wants to face right now. Guys, I hope you like this video. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you subscribe. It's Thai Sports. You know what it is. Please get your comments in. And I'll catch you on the next video.